That's real nice, Clark. So I'm sitting here with my brother-in-law, Tim. Tim, y'all may remember, he came over last year on a buck I shot there at the house, and he brought Covey and helped me find that deer behind the house. So that's where y'all have seen Tim on our shows before. Well, Tim lives over here in Georgia, and he killed, as you can see, a very nice buck the other evening. So I was going to come over and do a little interview with Tim about this buck, because this isn't a buck that you just happened up on. This is a deer you knew about. So why don't you tell us a little bit about the history behind this guy?
So we've been watching this deer the last 4 or 5 years, I think, on camera. I think this would have been, so I think he's five or six now. Me and some of my coworkers, we've been getting this guy on camera, and over time, and he's had the same characteristics. He's just gotten taller and wider, and
a couple of guys have actually had a shot at this deer.
So this deer has actually been shot twice before me and survived, and we thought for sure both times that he was lost, and he kept showing back up on camera, and obviously he showed up on Wednesday. And
yeah. All right. So history with the deer, general area. So you knew what area he was in. So why don't you tell me about your setup and how how'd the day go when you hunted this booger?
So actually, I was way late getting in. It was probably 5:15, 5:30 by the time I got into the stand for various reasons. This particular, it's a food plot, and there's only one stand on the food plot, and I only hunt it with a certain wind because the direction the deer always come out, if you're not on that one side, you're going to get busted. And so it just happened to be the perfect wind for that setup, and it was super easy to get in and out of when I needed to leave early and get in late. So I thought, well, I figured I might get a shot at some does.
So that is something that I think, just from a setup standpoint, this stand and how you've got that set up, this is something that I've really been trying to pay attention to more this year, maybe than ever, is being able to get into an area undetected. You talked about playing the wind, want to make sure you had the right wind, but this is an area, not only do you have the wind in your favor, but you've also visually, you've got thick cover going in. You don't have to walk across the food plot to get in there. You got good cover at the base of your stand. I mean, you can get in and out of there really undetected.
Yeah, it's a good setup. And so got in. I was in the stand maybe 15 or 20 minutes before the first does showed up.
And does are important this time of year, right? We're in early November here in this part of Georgia, and that's usually y'all see some rutting activity this time of year, right?
Yeah, and like I say, he came in, he was grunting, and he was running and checking the ladies, and he did that for a minute, and then he went over and started feeding, and there were a couple of ladies still left in the field. And so before he left, he wanted to check them out, and that's how that brought me and him together.
How many does did you have out there?
There were actually 6.
And they were just feeding?
Yes, but when I was trying to get him on video, I had that Tacticam mounted on my CROSSBOW, so I was trying to film him for a minute, but when he stopped and started feeding, I couldn't hold it forever.
Yeah.
And so I was trying to lower it back down. There was a doe. It had to be the dominant. It was the biggest doe in the field, and she had been watching me for 40 minutes. I couldn't move. And she didn't blow and run, but she saw me set that CROSSBOW down, and she didn't like it.
Yeah.
And she, at that point, was one of the closest deer to me. And so she kind of did that high head.
Yeah.
I don't like this, and she kind of just high-stepped it out of the field slowly, took her fawn with her, left me one deer, And I was thinking, okay, I'm not going to get a shot at this
Yeah.
guy. He's still 80 yards away.
Okay.
But just in case, I went ahead and arranged it, and it was at 31 yards. And I was like, well, if he comes over here,
Yeah.
I got a good reference. I'm coming up. And on my crossbow, I have a label that
Yeah.
tells me what each line is,
Yeah.
distance-wise. So in the heat of the moment, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
I had to look at him. I was like, I didn't want to shoot over him,
Yeah,
under him,
sure,
or whatever.
sure.
So I looked at my label, and I knew exactly where to go with it at that point.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, great job, buddy. It's a great buck. He looks great. I mean, very nice, symmetrical 10-point. I know you're tickled to death, and I'm tickled for you. I'm glad you're able to capture some of it on video. It's hard. It's hard.
is.
It's hard to make things happen. So
every time something like this happens, I have a very newfound respect each time for the guys that really do this and do it
it's
well.
incredible. Yeah. It adds a whole nother aspect to trying to do something that's hard already.
Yes. And like, I didn't have to draw my bow here. I was able to pick it up and go with it. But for those guys that are self-filming and they have to draw too, that's just one more thing to screw it up.
Yeah. And I need all the help I can get.
Or miss the timing, And
Absolutely.
So it's,
Absolutely.
my hat's off to them.
Well, my hat's off to you. You did a great job with your setup. You made a great shot. Deer didn't go, what'd you say, maybe 50 yards?
Yeah, 50, 60.
So great shot on the deer, and easy enough recovery, and great trophy on the backside. So congratulations, buddy.
Man, yeah.
Good job.
That was a good one.